For more on this, I'm joined by Fahad Masood in Dublin. He's an aviation analyst. Thank you so much for joining us, Fahad. So, firstly, how much did rising fuel prices play a part here, or has the writing been on the wall for some time?
Very relevant question. It has been a writing on the wall for a long time. The final nail in the coffin was put in by the jet fuel prices, the conflict taking place in the Middle East between Iran and USA. But underlying root causes, latent conditions, for example, the post-COVID financial fragility that it faced, $2.5 billion were lost in 2020. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There is intense competition, model erosion taking place with legacy carriers like Delta, United, and the American. They were taking over the ultra low-cost carrier role. This was the mainstay for Spirit Airline. Then the debt that has come up, they had reduced their aircraft, as correctly mentioned, from 200 to 94. Issues with the 320s, the Pratt & Whitney engines, and not to mention the over-reliance on ancillary revenues. This was about 59% or in 2024. So the reality, Spirit Airlines was a disruptor and it got disrupted. And this is where the problem lies. The $500 million request for relief to Trump administration never really came true. So they have stopped operations after 34 long years.
Donald Trump's mentioned this taxpayer-funded takeover. Is that certainly not happening now?
Well, it is under the fragile situation where the American industry is and the aviation industry specifically. It is not looking to be a reality. It can be merged or acquired into other airlines. For example, the JetBlue situation, given a presidential exit to Spirit, it can take place. And it probably will be the most sane solution for the common man, because this airline was used by the no-frill charging passengers. They did not want to use full-cost carriers like the American Delta and the rest to go from origin to destination at a relatively economic price. So merger acquisition, probably the way forward in testing times now.
And what does Spirit's exit mean, Fahad, for the ultra low cost carrier model in the US and around the world?
So this is the only ULCC operating in USA. There are other across the world like Scoot and the rest. So under the present situation where jet prices are skyrocketing, there are relatively less coverage by the government in bailouts. They will have a trickling down effect for everyone. So the reality is, if we don't change with the changing times, we will perish. And especially in the cutthroat industry of aviation or commercial aviation, this becomes extremely relevant in present day and age, where we have so many supply chain challenges, financial implications of butterfly effects from international conflicts, may it be the present Middle East or the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And if something happens, for example, in the future in the South China Sea, maybe the Taiwan Strait, it will further create challenges for especially this price-sensitive, ultra-low-cost carrier domain. Mind you, there are two more. There are the low-cost carrier and the full-cost carrier domain. The full cost being mostly flagship. They have good coverage, relatively good coverage from the governments. The low-cost carriers also playing a role like Ryanair in Ireland. But all of these, both the full cost and the low cost carriers, have seen effects taking place or influences from rising fuel costs now, which are becoming challenging on the international front.
Fahad Masood live there from Dublin. Thank you so much for that analysis.